You're listening to the Functional Marketing 101 podcast, episode number 6.
Welcome to the Functional Marketing 101 podcast, where it's all about you developing the mindset, belief, and online marketing and sales processes to get your coaching business to 6 figures and beyond. And now your host, functional marketing coach, award-winning author, and a total online marketing geek, Donna Joy Usher.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Functional Marketing 101. So today I want to talk to you about the power of frameworks and why you need to use them in your business. So before I discover what frameworks were, my message to my market was confused because, to be totally honest, I was confused. I wasn't quite sure exactly how I was going to help people. It was only after I realized the power of a framework, and once I heard what frameworks were and learned what frameworks were, within 5 minutes I was able to take what I do and create it into a system, and all of a sudden I was crystal clear about how I was going to help people, which meant that I was more confident and relaxed within my business. So what exactly is a framework? Well, put quite simply, your framework is what is going to get your client the result that they are after. So all business is really about getting a certain result for a client. Your framework is your unique way of delivering up that result. So for example, my 6 steps to getting better quality sleep, or the 4-step process for shedding 10 kilos in 4 weeks. So they are both frameworks. So this is what the 6 steps for getting better quality sleep might look like. So step number 1, don't eat for 4 hours before bed. Step number 2, make sure you stay well hydrated during the day. Step number 3, don't watch any blue light producing devices for 3 hours before lights out, or use special blue light filtering glasses if you have to. Step number 4, have a warm, caffeine-free sleepy time herbal tea an hour before bed. Step number 5, have a warm shower just before lights out. And step number 6, go to bed early. Now, often your product is contained within the framework, and sometimes it is the framework itself. So in the example above, it might be blue light filtering glasses that you sell, or perhaps sleep time tea, or it could be a specific way of eating and drinking that follows the rules set in the framework. So, or it could be like my framework, which I'll show you later, which is my entire product and my value ladder. So what are the advantages of creating a framework for your business? Well, first of all, it gives your clients absolute certainty on how their problem can be solved and how you are going to help them do that. So number 2, it gives you absolute clarity on exactly how you help your clients. It can be confusing if you haven't worked out your framework. And if you are confused about exactly what you do and why, then sure as hell your clients are confused. Framework removes the mind drama and the fluff surrounding building out your business online, because all of a sudden it is about your framework and not about you. So it's no longer about whether you are good enough. It's all about your framework. And if you have confidence in your framework, then you have confidence in yourself. So the third advantage is that frameworks help you flesh out a congruent value ladder for your business. Frameworks can be contained in a bulletproof cheat sheet, or they can be built out into a book. Because of that, your framework can be used to build out your value ladder within your business. So your opt-in could be a cheat sheet detailing the skeleton of your framework. Your upsell of that could be a book with more detail. Then comes the done with you or group coaching, and after that the done for you or one-on-one coaching. So see how you can take the one framework and build out the ecosystem of your business around it. So by shrinking it down just to the bare bones, or by fleshing it right up to the point where you do it for people, you can use your framework to create your business. So the fourth advantage is that frameworks can be broken down into smaller and smaller frameworks, which give you plenty of things to talk about in your content creation. So for example, in my example above about getting better sleep, you can create frameworks around each of those 6 steps. So you could have a framework about how you make sure you drink enough water every day. You could have a framework surrounding how to make sure you don't eat for 4 hours before you go to bed. So how to eat during the day to make sure that there's a 4-hour gap before you go to bed. You can have frameworks within all of that. Now, the rules for your framework. So number 1, you must know exactly what the pain and frustration that you're going to solve for your avatar is before you work out your framework. Rule number 2, your framework must solve that pain or frustration in a way that makes it necessary for your avatar to use your product or service. So whether or not it's just one step of the framework or the whole framework, they need you and your service or your product to be able to solve their problem. 3, it must show your potential client the logical steps they need to take to solve their problem. And the 4th rule is you must give your framework a proprietary name. So how can you create your own framework? So this is my framework for you creating your framework. So number 1, write down your client's pain or frustration and what the desired destination surrounding that pain is. So you need to know that your framework is going to solve the problem. So number 2, write down your customer's journey within your product or your business and make sure that you are giving them the destination that they want with your customer journey. So you need to make sure that the customer journey that you are taking people on now is taking them to the destination that they want. Then number 3, work out what exactly you are doing in the steps to help solve their problems and get them to that destination. So write down what you do in step form or bullet point, or just break it down into analytical moves. Number 4, work out if you and your product and services are one piece of a larger framework or is it an entire framework within itself. If you are one piece, you need to write down what the larger framework that you fit into is. Then number 5, break the process down into steps that the client takes to get their desired result, to get to their destination so that they're solving their problem and getting to where they want to go. And then 6, give it a name and make it your own. So here's an example of my framework for functional marketing to help coaches create the mindset, self-belief, and marketing and sales processes to get to 6 figures. So this is my skeleton framework. So I call it the client generating machine. And first step is they need to create the necessary social proof. The second step is they need to learn to generate leads. They need to be generating leads. The third step, they need to engage their audience. The 4th step is they need to move to sales. And the 5th step is they need to hold their vibrational energy high while repeating steps 1 to 4 over and over again. So that could be like a small framework like that. It could be something I just stick into a PDF or a cheat sheet. Then I could create a webinar on this, flesh that out, okay? Or I could write a whole book on it, on each step on how to do it. And then I create my 6-month coaching course about teaching them how to do this. And each of these steps breaks down into the different frameworks that I teach and I create my courses around. So for instance, in creating necessary social proof, I have a course on how to brand yourself. I have a course on how to set up a simple social media strategy to make content posting easy. I have a course on how to generate leads and how to build funnels and how to create lead magnets. I have courses on how to create sales pages and how to do sales conversations. I have a course on the success triad, so how to hold your vibrational energy high while you're doing all this. So you see how creating my framework allowed me then to create necessary courses that I needed within it, and how I can create my 6-month course, my program around each of these steps, taking people through and how to create each step as they go, how to get each bit of this nailed in correctly so that they can lay down the framework and the foundations, the functional marketing foundations on which they build their business. So they have a solid foundation on which they can build their business so they can grow and scale. So I hold these frameworks front of mind whenever I'm creating content or an offer that I'm going to present to my audience. Whenever I'm thinking about a tactic or a strategy, I'm tying it back into my overall strategy of my framework and how it's going to work. And that way, everything that I create is congruent and consistent. My message to my market is clear and not confusing, and my offers all make sense, because they're all being made around the same framework, to the same avatar, with the same pain, the same frustration, and the same destination in mind. Okay, so your homework is to sit down and to take a look at exactly who you help and how you help them. Then you're going to create your own unique framework for your business, making sure that the final destination it gives your audience is the one that you actually want. So remember, firstly, write down your client's pain or frustration and what their desired destination surrounding this pain is. So where do they want to be? Where are they now? What is their pain and frustration, and where do they want to be? Then write down your customer journey that you currently have to make sure that you are giving them the destination that they want. So you're taking them to where they actually want to be. Then work out what exactly you are doing in step form to help solve their problem and to give them that destination. Then work out if your product or service is one piece of a larger framework or if you are the entire framework itself. Then you're going to break that process down into steps the client needs to take to get to the desired results, which is going to be your framework, and you're going to give it a name and make it your own. And that's how you create the framework for your business. Okay, I hope you got some value out of that, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Hey, if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you have to check out my Facebook group, The Fully Booked Coach. It's a place for coaches wanting to grow their business so they can change the world and create their own dream life in the process. You can find the link to join on my podcast resources page at donnajoyasha.com/resources. I'd love to have you join me, and I look forward to seeing you there soon.